Okay. Alright. Am I recording? I ain't got my, let me put my glasses on. See if I'm recording, because I can't tell. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's good right there. Should we turn on these lights? How y'all doing? I'm missing like Grandma T. Come on in, get settled down. Come on in. Get settled down, get settled down. Get settled down. The show gonna start momentarily. Get settled down. Come on in. Relax. Get settled down. Get your key. Text is ready to say what you gonna say. Come on in. Ooh, I need some better bras. These bras don't be holding shit the hell up in like they used to. Ooh, Lord, my back. Okay. Hear me out. Come on in. Come on in. Get settled down. Get settled down. Get settled down. We're gonna start the show momentarily. Goddamn. Push your pills. Okay, here we go, alright. Listen, hear me out. Come on in. Get settled down, okay? Get settled down. Come on in, get settled down. We're gonna start the show momentarily, okay? Okay, hear me out, Bluebird, come on. Hear me out, come on in. Sit down. Come on, sit down. Get comfortable on your couches and shit. Get ready. Oh, can I curse on the? Okay. In your couches and shit. Come on. Get settled down. Hear me when I say the show gonna start momentarily. Okay. Welcome to Be Less Petty, the live podcast. Before we get started, we gotta de-pedify ourselves. I know, the words sound like pedophile. I told Kellye it wasn't a good word, but she young, and so, shit, when you're young, you just do young, dumb shit, so we gonna come in and to de-pedify ourselves, meaning be less of the petty person we was before we got here. We gonna do this video. Okay. It's a relaxation video, okay? So relax. We gonna play the video now, and you just get settled in and listen to the sounds of the video, and breathe. Yeah, you gonna breathe. Oh shit, these videos. Okay, you gonna breathe. So we gonna start. We gonna start right now. And then after, we gonna start. And then we gonna start. We gonna start right now. We gonna start right now. What button am I supposed to push to turn this off?
Hey, what is up, y'all out there? I am so excited to be here for the very first Be Less Petty live comedy self-help podcast. This is like, this is what I've been wanting to do, y'all, right here. I am really excited. Just a quick intro to the show. Be Less Petty self-help podcast is all about learning and laughing at our petty ass ways, figuring out tools and resources to just get better, right? Just become more evolved as people. And so my hope is to bring you funny ass comedian co-host and great inspirational guests that will make you leave thinking about a little something, but also having a great time. So with all that being said, I want to first introduce my amazing co-host. Me and this girl, we've been down like 4 flats on a dump truck for years, okay? She was the first producer of my first podcast, Kellye Talks, which got converted to Be Less Petty, and she's been there since day one, holding it down. So I'm really, really excited to present to you my good friend, my homegirl. She also plays a very funny ass character of Mayor Lightfoot. You must go to her Instagram and check this character out because she plays it so goddamn well. I'm wondering why we didn't hire her to be the mayor, okay? Y'all start clapping right now. Give a lot of love. Show a lot of love. Well, you can't clap. I mean, I guess you can clap at home. This is going to be some adjusting, okay, y'all? This is my first time doing this as like not having an audience except for in comments. So there's going to be some adjusting, but clap in the comments for my girl, Lisa Beasley. Woo! Hey, Bo.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been studying my approach to being a co-host on a self-help podcast that is also comedy.
I know. It's some mind fuckery. I know. I feel you. I've been dealing with that my whole comedy career. How do I help people without talking about them?
I was there.
I feel you.
We had talks in detail. I want to be real, but I want to be funny. I want to talk about serious stuff, but I'm funny. How do you make both work?
Yes, this has been my literal struggle. Hey, Asia, welcome. Yes, Lisa is so very petty. She's very petty, which is why she was perfect for the first show.
Can I tell you a tiny petty moment I had with Asia? So many of them, but one of them was, I'll never forget. We was out in public. This was like 2019, and we went to like a gas station or something, and she got a lottery ticket, and I had never got one before. So I was like, "Ooh, I want one." And she was like, "You a copycat?" And that's when I realized, like, I do be copying my friends all the time. I'm a copycat.
That's not a petty thing, though. Copycat? No, I think that you are inspired by. Okay, it's all about perspective, boo. It's all about perspective.
Thank you. I've been wanting to pitch to you a show I have called Be More Petty.
It's really going against what I'm currently working on. I don't know how to do
For real.
That is so. I heard you got into some petty stuff this week, but tell me about that.
I would say the petty thing I did this week was Lori Lightfoot. I didn't have to come for her like that, but I will continue to do so. It was particularly petty because I called out the fact that she's all about like reopening Chicago, but then cases are rising. So it's like, what you do that for, Lori? Like, she had this big deal, big jokes about staying at home, memes, her face on buildings. And now she's like, let's open up everything. Oops.
I just got my second shot today.
Congratulations.
Why do people say that? Why are people congratulating
me? It feels like an honor.
So many people are like, I'm like, what? I didn't win anything. But a potential zombie gene.
You win. You won.
I won.
You won Corona.
You know what? I did win because I'm not sick. I don't feel. I got my second shot and I'm okay.
Good.
So far, which is good because they say that the second one puts you down. So yeah, I hear that the second one gets you like really. Nice. So I'm happy. that I'm feeling pretty good right now. And I'm proud that was your only petty moment this week. That is honorable.
Yeah, it was one of the, because with her, it only takes me like 15 minutes to get ready, because like once I'm done with the hair and covering my eyebrows, I just throw on her clothes and put any button anywhere. And this time I was intentional about like, I'm gonna put the button all the way down here, all the way up here. That was petty.
Yeah, that's true. And your sleeves was real big. They was real big. That is a little petty to come for her outfit like that. So I had a petty moment this week.
Let it out.
I know I'm not that proud, but
acknowledgement is the first step.
Acknowledgement is that's why I fucks with you, because we be on the same page. Okay, it's all about balance. That's what our guest just said in the comments. Yes, that is all about balance. Okay, so I was coming home from Trader Joe's, right? And I live in the south side of Chicago. We don't have no Trader Joe's. Yeah, we don't have no Trader Joe's over here. I went to Hyde Park to go to the Trader Joe's, which we just got. So I'm coming home, and there's a blacked out Range Rover. I thought Obama was on the block. Blacked out Range Rover, right? Blocking my driveway. So I can't get in my driveway because they're parked right there. So I do a little, and I really hate when people lay on the horn. That just makes my skin crawl. And so I do a little toot toot. You know what I mean? I was like, toot toot, right? Yeah, I'm trying to be respectful, and I care about the neighborhood. So I'm toot toot, nothing. She don't move, right? So I'm like, okay, toot toot toot. She don't move, right? And there's a car behind me as well. So I need to either pull over or whatever, or just go around the block. And so I pull up on the side of her, and my neighbor was outside, and he was waving like this to the car, right? Telling the car to move up. But the car is blacked out and it's not moving. So I'm thinking to myself that it must not be anybody in here. I've tooted 5 times. You know what I mean? There mustn't be anybody in this car. That just would be so like insanely ignorant for this person to not listen. And so I pull up and I'm looking, and it's blacked out and nothing happened. So I yelled to my neighbor. I'm like, is somebody in there? Is somebody in this car? And so then her eyelashes roll down the window, right? And she looks and she like, yes.
Pause.
And so
pause. We're not just gonna her what?
Her eyelashes rolled down the window. Okay, her eyelashes.
Continue. Okay, I thought that's what you said.
Yes.
I thought that's what you said.
So she's like, yes. And I'm like, and now my mind is like, it exploded. My mind just literally just went.
Well, because you just saw somebody roll the window down with their eyebrows. That's talent.
It wasn't even that made my mind blow. It was the fact that I tooted her 5 times.
So you was in there.
And you was in there. You feel what I'm saying? So bitch, you are in the car. The car ain't just parked itself, right? And so I'm having this moment, and I'm like, and now I'm heated because I'm like, could you move up? Right? And she's like, yeah, like as if she's doing me a favor. So she scoots up, and I turned into, Lisa, when I tell you I turned into a full ass Karen. I started grabbing my Trader Joe's bag out the trunk. I was like, this is what's wrong with the goddamn neighborhood. You just don't respect people's property. What is
talking
wrong
to everybody and nobody but one person at the same time?
Girl, I was so heated. Like my energy levels was so high. When I got in the house, my husband was like, what's wrong? You okay? And I was like, did you not see her out there in the front? And I'm still snapping about it. And then I realized after like 10 minutes, I took a deep breath and I was like, okay, Kellye, that was a petty moment. That was a petty moment. You allowed, and see, this is what it's talking about, because be less petty ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. It's all about being less petty with your time, your space, and your energy. Okay? Not nobody else.
Cookie, be quiet. You want to get in on the show? You trying to get your petty moment in of the week? You want to talk about you pee where you wasn't supposed to pee? He was petty this week as well. So, but that's the thing though, because she was petty. Because for several reasons. A, in the way. B, all the tooting. How much to anytime any car honks anywhere, everybody around is like, they honking at me. They could be driving perfectly and they're like, who, me?
Is that me? Right.
The dog is very petty. He's trying to upstage.
Yes. And
so when we acting the petty, how do you not get petty? Like,
I don't know.
How could you have been less petty in that situation?
You're right. Let's talk about it.
Because I still have to give her a couple of words.
Well, like I said, being less petty is about being less petty with your time, your space, and your energy. And so the fact that I felt the energy, in fact, that I was so enraged after I got in the house is where the pettiness came in at. Because I literally took this woman and her eyelashes out her car and said, come in the house with me and come and blow wind on me with your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I basically did. Come and continue to bring your energy inside of me. That's what happened. And so whenever you carry something with you out of the scenario, out of the moment, then it's pettiness. It's small, it's menial, and it's not going to add to the longevity of my life, right? And so I could have been less petty by simply saying, excuse me, could you scoot up? This is my driveway. And then she would have done so. And I've been like, wow, that was pretty rude, and keeping it moving. But I didn't just say, oh, that was pretty rude. I took my whole crew from Harvey, all my personalities, they ganged up together and said, it's time for a beat down.
You put that energy on your Trader Joe's bag.
I put the energy.
Says, I think she deserved the petty, but the petty got to stop when you get away from her.
Boom. And that's the point. That is the point I'm trying to make. The pettiness got to stop. You should have put on your AC on blast and not.
Or you should have ludicrous move, bitch, get out the way.
Oh, that would have been a good, but I'm trying to be less petty. See,
you gotta see the petty flair. You're like, okay,
come on now.
What I want to do? How can I be less petty? And then we'll give you suggestions in real time.
But after the 10 minutes, after I decided to kind of decompress, right? And I was like, okay, that happened. I realized and I accepted the duality in myself, right? Because we are expansive people. We are full humans. And therefore we have to acknowledge that, right? We have to acknowledge the duality, which, by the way, is my word of the week. If anybody's following me on Instagram, the word of the week this week was duality. Reason being, went away. Duality. That's because I'm tapping it twice. Got to get it together. I did it again. I'm done. Hands up. This is ridiculous. I'm trying, y'all. I'm learning. Duality, an instance of opposition or contrast between two concepts or two aspects of something, a dualism. Sometimes I'm joyous and friendly. Other times I'm closed off and sad. This is the duality of being human, right? That moment that I had, that experience that I had was the duality of my full human experience. If I had just got through meditating, right? Of course, I would have probably not had a problem. I would have been able to handle that differently, but I didn't. I had just came from Trader Joe's and was already in whatever mood I was in, or
maybe you could tell from even talking about the story, the fact that you had to drive further out to get to a Trader Joe's is sitting in the back of your subconscious as well, because you're salty about that on the inside. We always
come on now. All of these different scenarios, okay? All of this stuff is making a difference. So
like,
yes.
Why do I have to drive 25 to 35 minutes, depending on the traffic, to get some broccoli?
To get something organic. Anything organic. I don't even give a shit what it is at this point. It could just be organic water. Just give me something organic within a 10-mile radius of my home.
You don't want an organic 5-piece and fries drenched in sauce every day.
My knees and inflammation is gonna pass on that. We're gonna pass.
Every single time me and Kellye go live, we really are just like crying out for the South Side, like, please help us.
Help us over here, please. Oh my God! How many of my guests on the stream today is from the South Side area, or even live in an area where you have a food desert? Do we have anybody out there that live in a food deserty area?
While they're answering that, I have a quote from duality that I got in college, graduation. I don't remember who the speaker was, but it was in this big old Baptist church, and he was like preaching, and I will never forget this quote. He said, "You are a duality, your inner man and your outer man. If you starve one, it will die." Never forgot it.
Okay, I wouldn't forget that either.
That's the only thing I remember from graduation.
If you starve one, the
you
other
are a duality, your inner man and your outer man. If you starve one, it will die. That's how he said it.
It will die. Okay, somebody said, how can I be less petty when, I forgot I can do this. How can I be less petty when I'm feeling upset about my kids wanting to spend more time with their mother than me? I don't want to celebrate the birthdays, holidays under these conditions. Ooh, that is a great question.
I need some backup information for that. What you got?
I have a good answer for that, actually.
Ooh,
it's about the kids. That's it. It's about the kids and their happiness and their experience as a child with you as a parent. And so if their experience is toxic or negative because you feel some type of way about not wanting them to spend with their mom, you rather them spend with you, they're going to feel that. They're going to see that. And that's what they're going to take away from that instance versus maybe even talking to the mother. Like, is there a way that we can do a team celebration? You know what I mean? Something where we can both be there, or you know what I mean? But yeah, and that is a tough question. I did my husband Mike said that's a tough question.
Because I was thinking, like, how old are the children? That makes a difference, because if the baby's 2 years old, then that means the parents need some talking to do, because the 2-year-old isn't going to be able to be like, but mom, no, for real, I'd rather be with dad because he knows how to give me the mushy food from the spoon and you do. You know what I mean? So, like, how old are these children?
That's true. And if they 25, then they shouldn't be trying to spend birthdays with you anyway.
If they're old enough, you could ask them, like, you know, what it is, because you'd be surprised. Like, my daughter, she's 5, and sometimes, and I co-parent, and sometimes she's like, I want to go do that. And I get to the bottom of everything. And sometimes it'd be because her favorite teddy bear is over there. Or it's like, I miss my toy, and she tries to make it seem like it's about the person, and it ain't got nothing to do with us. It's because on her grandpa's iPad, she can watch A for Adley on adult YouTube.
Which goes back to, it's about the kid, and kids are petty. So period. Okay. They are so petty. But on the flip side, they learn it from petty parents. Truth be told. On that note, I think it is time to transition into my amazing guest that we have coming on. I am really, really excited. I don't know how many people on the chat is aware that I went for an ayahuasca retreat 2 weeks ago, and okay. It was mind-blowing, eye-opening, and a very deeply spiritual healing experience. And afterwards, I was searching for all of these answers. I had all of this curiosity, and the Black woman whose farm we were staying at, 40 acres and a llama, goals. Okay. That's where we were in Texas.
In
Texas. And I had, you know what? It's so crazy.
Excited.
I had such petty expectations about Texas before I even got there. I just was like, oh my God, they're going to all be racist. They're going to all have on red, Make America Great cowboy hats. Like, this is going to be what is happening. I really did have all of these preconceived petty notions about Texas, when in fact, everyone was so amazing. They were so nice. They were so inviting, like very Southern drawl, but they had a openness about them of like, and I did drive past some huge red Trump is my president flags, okay, on my way out there to the farm. It was huge.
But they're so nice.
But I was like, you know what? Just because Trump is his president and not Biden, just because he's kept Trump doesn't mean he want to kill Black people. That's not what that means. And so for me to assume that is a petty thought, and I need to check myself.
It's safe. I mean, it's better to assume in that situation.
Say he might.
Wait a minute now. Don't let your guard down all the way.
I know, right? It was beautiful though, and I had a great time out there at this farm. And so in the midst of me getting to know the land, talking to the owner of the space, the 40 acres and a mule, Lenita is her name. She introduced me to another woman, a friend of hers, who is also a shaman, not the shaman that I have my ceremony with, but one that has done ceremonies there at the farm. And she said, I think you will love to talk to this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a lot of great knowledge. And I just think you guys will connect. And she was right, because we have not only so many things in common, we were both in the military. Hers way more better. Like I was reserved halfway almost for like 4 years. And then I quit and was like, I can't do this. I want to be a comedian. She was in the Army for 22 years. Like she, committed to the Army and retired. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. She also is a social worker, and she is a shamanistic healer. That is what she does. She heals from her heart, in her space. Every time we have a conversation, it is just so, it's not always uplifting. Like she keeps it real. So I can't say that it's always uplifting. She be telling me like, here's what I got to say. But I appreciate it, because it makes me go back to the thinking palette. It makes me go back and say, what do I think about this? What do I feel about this? How am I, growing from these words? And so with that being said, I want y'all to all welcome with your comments, because I know y'all can't hear the clap. Welcome with your comments, Elohi Yona. Woo! Hi.
Hi, Kellye.
How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
You guys are hilarious.
I'm glad you think so. Let's change this to make sure we can see everybody. Is that no?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Oh my God. Thank you so very, very much for being on this show. Like I hadn't even known her. Look, let me tell you something. I did my ayahuasca trip 2 weeks ago. So I ain't known her more than 2 weeks. Okay. That's going to take.
Wow.
That's how long I've known her. And we've had so many in-depth conversations since then. We've talked several times, and she has just been a warming spirit since the moment we conversed. And she ain't charged me for none of this, which is amazing, because this is what she do for a living. So tell my audience really quick, if you could just let them know how you got started into this healing. Like, what did it for you?
Real quick, so for the first 27 years of my life, I was a soldier on the streets, surviving. For the second 22 years of my life, I was a soldier in the military. And now I'm a soldier for the spirit. So,
I like that.
What got me into it was my own personal healing journey, and trying to make sense of it. Like, why would a person go through what they go through? Why would a person's life have to be so petty? And so it was like I was trying to figure all this stuff out and process it. And being a social worker, as a soldier, I took care of other soldiers and their issues. But being a social worker was my way of trying to say, well, I can't make sense of the trauma that has occurred in my life. So maybe the reason it happened is because I'm supposed to help other people. And so social work was what I went into in the attempt to do that. Sexual assault victims and domestic violence and child abuse and things of that sort. But there's so much red tape there.
Yeah.
You're not really healing anyone. You're putting days on them and you're sending them on their way. So after I got out of the military, I don't know how I got here, to be honest. I don't. I just started, everybody's going through an awakening. Mine started probably around 2014. I started loving chakras and crystals and sage and Palo Santo and all of this other stuff. And I ended up opening the metaphysics shop. And in opening the metaphysics shop, I was making jewelry with the ayahuasca vine before I ever sat with it. I don't recall how it came into my presence, but I was making jewelry with it. So there was a connection with that particular plant, and I'm not sure how that actually occurred, to be honest, how it came about. But I looked up and I started sitting in ceremonies just like you did.
Yeah.
And so I sat for a few years, and about in the first year, the plants had told me I was supposed to work with it, but I was like, nah, get out of here. Couldn't be. I'm just like in the military, I was a drill sergeant. Everybody wants to be the drill sergeant until you're the fucking drill sergeant. What I mean? It's like, you want to get out of there, And so I thought it was the same concept. I'm just admiring the medicine man, and I'm just admiring him. And I'm like, that's cool. I wonder what it'd be like, what it would be to be that.
Now, question, what, just so people know, because I don't know if everybody knows what ayahuasca is. Mm-hmm. So can we define what ayahuasca is for everyone?
So ayahuasca is a sacred plant. It's a sacred medicine. It should be honored as such. And so it's a combination of a vine and a leaf that comes from the Amazon jungle, and they blend it together and make a tea, a brew out of it. But it's actually a psychedelic. Okay, so you would have like psychedelic effects, but it's very healing. And in my opinion, it's very healing in what I refer to as epigenetics.
What is epigenetics?
Epigenetics is if I'm pregnant with my child and the father of my child is beating me and I'm stressed out, or I'm stressed out because I'm a single mother, or I'm in jail while I'm pregnant, the trauma that is within the mother, the stress that is within the mother transfers to the child, but it's not through DNA. It's through epigenetics. It means it's in the surface.
Mm.
And so, in my opinion, I believe that that's what ayahuasca heals.
Mm.
It heals the soul. It heals the epigenetic trauma. And it also heals, physical trauma,
Now, you helped me when we first started talking. You helped me understand a little bit of my journey with ayahuasca. So I'm going to share a little bit of that journey real quick with the audience so that they can understand what you helped me with. Okay. So when I did ayahuasca, y'all, the first night, I didn't feel anything. The first night I was just farting. Like I had so much gas and I really couldn't even fart. It was like bottled up in my stomach like balls, and I was trying to get it out, and then I would go to the bathroom and be able to, you got something to say, Lisa?
Pause. Pause. The first day. So how is this administered? Is it something you get into daily? Is it one thing and you're like, this is gonna last for days? What's the let's take it one step back, because I want to know what led up to this, but I think that's another day.
She can tell you, but it depends on the shaman. They have ceremonies that can go 8 days, and they have more than that. What's the longest ceremony you've heard of, Elohi?
So what I don't hold a ceremony longer than 3 days.
Okay.
Longer than 3 days, and I don't recommend that you do back-to-back ceremonies.
Right, because you were talking about processing the information.
Absolutely, it's very important because the work, the healing, it starts in the ceremony, but the true healing starts after the ceremony, and that's when the client has to do the work. So you listen to the plants, you hear what the plants have to tell you. And sometimes you don't know, it's like, all I saw were all these colors. I don't know what that means. You still need to take time to process and integrate what was shown to you during the ceremony. It's very important to not be a ceremony hopper. That's what I refer to as. Kind of like going from ceremony to ceremony to ceremony to ceremony. To me, in my opinion, is what I refer to as escapism. You're not really stopping, and you're not listening and doing the hard work, because the hard work definitely starts after the ceremony.
Yeah. That has a lot. THC has become an escapism for a lot of people.
THC, marijuana is a sacred plant as well that has been abused. It really has. We don't treat it sacred. It's just become very recreational. which leads me to the next thing is that these medicines should never be used recreational, nor should they ever be used alone. You should always have a guide to walk you through.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so to talk about processing, get back to that, processing and colors and all of that, I'll share a little bit of my experience because you helped me process some of that after I saw a lot of colors. I saw a lot of colors, a lot of kaleidoscope, if you know what that is, if everyone knows what that is. And it was just all these colors and it was just so magical. And I was so happy. I was the happiest I had ever been in my life. And I can honestly say that. I was just like looking and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is amazing. And I realized that in the course of me enjoying this, I instantly thought about my deceased daughter and was like, well, what about heaven? It's like I wasn't allowing that happiness to be because I was concerned about her. And then I heard a voice, which they call Mother Ayahuasca, the plant talking to you. I've heard that is like, and I felt like it was just a deeper or a higher level of myself talking to me that said, you know, heaven is fine. And I was like, oh shit. And I trusted it. Like, it wasn't like a heaven is fine. And I was like, but is she? It was like, no, heaven is fine. And I trusted it with all of my heart that was the truth. And then I started feeling happy again. I started feeling happy and I saw all the colors and the kaleidoscope and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so amazing. And then the same thing happened with another deceased child I had. It was like, and then it was like, no, Deontay is fine. And then after that second, like, they're fine, I started panting and I turned into a literal horse. I turned into a horse. Like, I couldn't refute the idea that I was a horse. I was a horse. And I was like, and I was like, when a horse finally rests and they kind of take those deep breaths, that's what was happening. I was taking these deep breaths and like, yeah, just for the first time, just really breathing for the first time in my life. And so you kind of helped me understand that. Explain that to the audience on what that was for me, because I would love for them to hear that as well.
Well, your spirit knows what it was, but I attempted to assist you through your integration process by saying that horses usually stop and pant really fast after they've been running for a really long time. They're just running. And when they stop, they're breathing hard. And the plants give you exactly what you need when you need it. And so it goes to the root of your pain. And the root of your pain are your beloved children. And so they wanted to first make sure that you knew that your children are okay, that they are okay. And you can stop running. You can stop running. And so that was the way that I interpreted that. And by you turning into a horse, you could have turned into a bear, you could have turned into an eagle. But by you turning into a horse, that tells me that you have horse energy. And the horse is your spirit animal. The horse is now your ally. You can call on horse energy when you need it.
That, yeah. And you know what? I honestly felt that. And I felt that ever since. Like, even today, I had a really, really busy day. And before I jumped on this comedy show right before this podcast, which I definitely shouldn't have booked, but did anyway. I was like moving, right? And I had a COVID shot today, which we talked about a little bit earlier. So I did the COVID shot, boom, into an audition, boom, into a comedy show, boom, into this.
I was
running. But after talking to Elohi, after talking to her about this, I did a 10-minute meditation before I jumped on that comedy show. And I just embodied the spirit of the horse. I like saw my legs becoming the horse legs. I saw me being strong enough to withstand a run through this night, to get through this and to be okay. And I saw that. And so when I got on the comedy show, I was good. I was like, I'm good to go. I felt better about I didn't feel like I was exhausted like I would have normally done and been complaining like, oh, I got another thing to do. I felt empowered by it. And so, yeah, that's pretty magical. Somebody asked a question just a few seconds ago. And we will get to Q&As for sure. What was the environment like in a room? Well, you can talk about what you try to do for your environment when you host ceremonies? Because you host ceremonies as well. So what do you typically do for your?
So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we have a safe space. It's very important. You want to be in a safe space. And then once you're in a safe space, the medicine woman or the medicine man, what they'll do is they'll cleanse the energy within that space.
Mm-hmm.
Because if 20 people walk in a room, when those 20 people leave, they leave something behind. Yeah. And so we want to cleanse the energy in that space. Each individual gets sage down or Palo Santo down. The room gets Palo Santo down. The medicine woman or the medicine man, you should see them with something called mapacho, which is a sacred tobacco, and they'll blow it, or they'll blow it on their hands, or they'll use Florida water. And what they're doing is they're cleansing their energy. They're making sure they're not bringing anything within that space that they may have encountered throughout the day or whatever. And so safe space is the most important thing. Each individual will have like a mat or something like that. Everybody will bring their yoga mat, their sleeping bags, their blankets, whatever makes them comfortable. Each individual will have a bucket, for their purging. I encourage people to bring whatever makes them feel safe. If it's your inner child and you want to bring a teddy bear, then bring a teddy bear. If you want to bring crystals, then bring crystals. If whatever you want to bring, you bring it with you, whatever makes you feel safe. If it's your beanie, if it's your necklace that your mother gave you, or your child's pajamas, whatever it is, you bring that into that safe space, and it will, you also get the clients to state their intention. You want to go into ceremony with an intention. You know what I mean? Because your intention will bring you back. If you get too far, you start going all over the place, and you're just like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then your intention is, just say your intention is to listen. My intention is just to listen and learn. Then I remind myself, if I'm just too all over the place, okay, I'm here to listen. I just want to listen. So you remind yourself of your intention, bring you back within yourself, and continue on with the ceremony.
Now, is it better to have a more vague intention than because I went there with this really strong intention. I was like, should I do comedy? Yes or no? Go, plant, tell me. You know what I mean? I like really thought that the plant was going to be like, no, Kellye, you are done with that. Move on to this, like, or whatever. And so in the first day, I had so much gas. The first night, which to go back to that, the original conversation of like I had two ceremonies. Friday night, I had so much gas. I was so uncomfortable. And I think it's because I was trying to control that answer. I wanted the answer to that. That was it. And that's what I was there for. And so I wasn't open to whatever else it was trying to give me. And then, are you counting the farts? I think
no, I was saying I'm a 14-year-old. Farts are just so funny.
I had farts 14 times.
I don't see how y'all talk about farting and y'all not laughing.
You are in your inner child. That is the truth. Okay. So I had a lot of gas. And then the next day I walked around the acreage with Lanita, and she showed me all of her ideas, right? Her land is basically her vision board in her mind. So she showed me like this African village that she built in the middle of her land with all these little huts to create the experience of how when a African husband has multiple wives and how they stay in all these different huts. And she showed me her dance studio place in her lake on her land. And, and we fed the llama apples and all of this. And really, I just let go. I just stopped trying to create this thing. And I just was like, whatever this day is going to be, I'm going to let it be. And then by the time I got to her labyrinth, which by the way, didn't know what a labyrinth was till I got there. It's just a maze that you walk on and you concentrate on something you're trying to let go as you walk through it. When I got there, I had a conversation with her and I was like, I'm having a really hard time in this ceremony and I just don't know what. And she was like, just don't have any intentions. Let it go. Just let the medicine do what the medicine wants to do in terms of like what you need right now. And so my intention kind of went away at that point. You know, so how do you, like, what is a good intention? Where do you set the intention bar if that's the case?
The intention is nothing more than just to ground you. You know what I'm saying? It's very seldom that like if you have an intention like, I want to know what love is. I want to know what it feels like to truly be loved, or I want to know I want to be able to listen. I'm just here to listen. Whatever you say is whatever you say. You come in with a hardcore intention like yes or no answer, you're probably not going to get it. But because you're anticipating that answer, in anticipation, you're not surrendering. You're not surrendering to the plants. And that's what it sounds like happened, is that you were not surrendering. You had so many your expectations that you were waiting to see what you thought you were going to see versus what the plants were going to tell you. And that's not unusual. That's not unusual.
Yeah. So for somebody that has never tried ayahuasca before, right? And does there have to be a level of healing that a person is looking for? Does it have to be deep stuff like what I disclosed today? Or can it be, you know, a breakup and that they can't get over? Like,
Absolutely. Well, the reason the breakup occurred is because of deep-seated trauma. The reason we go from relationship to relationship to relationship and we can't seem to get that right is because of deep-seated trauma. You see, and we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so we might go to the plants to say, what is wrong? Why do I keep going through this? And it's going to take you back to when you were 2, when you were touched by your uncle. So you really don't like men. You really don't know really don't know what love is, because love was shown to you as a 2-year-old from a 40-year-old. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of deepness that this medicine does. But one thing I can say is that it's not going to give it all to you, like just open up, rah, this is everything that's ever happened to you. It's going to give you what you need the most.
Yeah.
For example, your situation. What you needed the most was to know that your babies were okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to tell you on the first ceremony that you were molested at 2, and that's the reason your relationships don't break up. It might show you your son or your daughter. It might show you that their love language is touch, and you can't yell at them. You gotta put your hand on their shoulder and say, baby, mama needs you to do this or that. And the whole time you're saying, get over there and do this or that. Why don't this kid listen to me? Know their love language. The plants might show you that.
Wow.
To show you what you need right then. And we're going with these expectations of what we think we need. And it's the last thing that we need. Whether or not you're a comedian is the last thing you need to start your healing journey. You needed to know that your babies were safe. And you needed to know that you had the strength to keep going, but you have the option to stop running. You see?
Okay, my bad, y'all. I turned this into therapy for me, but I appreciate y'all being included in this moment.
I was gonna say, this is deep. I done caught my healing. I done unlocked a few layers. That's what I'm supposed to think about tonight.
It's all in balance. Hey.
We have a few Mythbusters here that I wanna pop up to see if people been listening. Let's see if people been listening.
Is Lanita in the room?
No, I don't think so. Did you invite her?
No, I didn't invite anyone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should.
Come on, y'all. In the chat. Whoever answers this question right will definitely have a ticket to my next show here on Twitch. No, seriously though, answer this question right. The first 3 people that answers this question right will get a handwritten letter from me. Handwritten. I love to write letters. Handwritten letter. First 3 people. Somebody said except weed. I think that's not the right answer. Weed is sacred. They meant except weed. Hey, with an A, except weed. I keep forgetting I can show these. I'm getting it all wrong. from root healing, Minerva, all plant medicine should be honored. And she will also be next week's guest, by the way. I'm glad she's in the building right now. Honoring and consuming are two different things. Come on now. Come on now. That is very, very true. And you know what? So this past week, since you said that we should honor, plant medicine and all plants, no matter what, I have been trying to, before I consume, I've been consuming edibles. The blunt doctor made me consume an edible for the first time in a month. And I was on her show. And when I took the edible, I said to myself, like, just allow this to be an enjoyable, creative experience. Let me have a lot of fun. Let me be energized and let me accept all the ideas that may come of this experience. And I did. I had a lot of fun. We were on the show together. Me and Lisa was on her show, Blunt Doctor. We laughed. We did a lot of great. It was so much fun. But I've realized that sometimes when I take edibles, it doesn't feel that great. I'll feel anxious or I'll feel all these other energies. But it's like, because I said that to it, I felt better. I felt, I don't know if it's just putting the intention out there or what.
Yeah, give thanks to the plants, just giving thanks. Give thanks to the medicine, because this is a medicine that has been given to us, by Pachamama. This is a medicine. Okay, so of course they've taken it and they've put different things in it to manipulate it the way they want to. As soon as they make it legal, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? But just simply giving thanks to the plants, and knowing that it's a medicine, and this is just my opinion, and that it's not. Wow.
So it doesn't have to be no long dissertation to the weed. It's just thank you.
I have a question, because when I roll, I view that kind of like as ritualistic for me. And then right before I smoke, I tear a tip of the blunt and I like set that aside for the ancestors. Does that count as like honoring and like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't partake in marijuana. It's just not my thing. So all I know is that the plants are sacred. You can take a puff for the ancestors. I don't know. Girl, don't get me in line. I don't know. To the ancestors.
That's funny.
Do it. Do your thing.
All right. Do you have any questions? I want to know. Let's start filtering in the questions for Elohi today. I want to make sure that anything you're wondering about ayahuasca or any plant medicine, she's actually doing something very courageous coming up soon. Do you mind talking about that? Your trip?
Oh, the Peru trip?
Yeah.
Oh, I plan to go to Peru and meet and this will be good comedy for y'all. I plan to go all the way to Peru to meet a frog.
That is literally what she said to me the other day on the phone. I was like, "Oh, you going to meet a frog? Okay."
I plan to go into the jungle. You go into the jungle for like a week, and then you go out and you call the frog. And if the frog comes to you, then it's basically giving you permission to work with its medicine. And Kambo is a detoxifier. And so it's a good medicine to use prior to sitting with ayahuasca. And so,
oh, really? How is it ingested?
It's not ingested. So what it is they take a stick and they burn the end of the stick. And I wish I could show you. I have I don't know if you can see that, those dots right there.
Yeah.
You can? Okay. And so you take a stick and you tap the skin, right? And you basically wipe off the first layer of skin, and you take the medicine. You can use the client's saliva or the medicine woman's or man's saliva. You mix it up and you put the frog medicine on the cleared spots, and it goes through the body, detoxifying
Now, what's the difference between that? What's the difference between Sapo and Kambo?
Kambo, you drink a lot of water. It's the same medicine, but it's administered differently. Sapo, the scars are bigger, the burns are bigger, and you don't drink as much water. And with Kambo, you drink a lot of water and you purge. And I like the purging because it cleans out the stomach in preparation for
The ayahuasca. Okay. Now this question, did you find inner childhood healing with plant medicine? Let's revisit that again, what you were saying about the, like, how it goes deep, it goes where it needs to go.
You go to a good ceremony and they will have like, sometimes we do that. We'll have like inner child work the next day, you know? So the answer is yes, it goes to your inner child. It's a good thing to do if you're doing inner child work. Yeah.
Now, how do you, people that are going to do ayahuasca, right? You go to do ayahuasca and then you have these, what you call processing moments, but you can't just go back into the regular life. You know what I mean? You can't just have ayahuasca, do ayahuasca, and then go back into, you got to be reintegrated into life, right? Like does that make sense?
Sorry, I'm reading what one of your guests said.
What did he say? Loretta and Dude want to know if there is an edible they can have and pass a drug test. Probably not, dude. That is my cousin.
There's a light energy there.
But I don't know, dude. I don't know. Why don't you come take an edible and then try to pass the drug test and see what happens? Hopefully you don't lose your job. So, like, because what I've realized is that I've been meditating, right, for damn near 10 years, like doing some form of meditation, some form of chanting, some form of mindfulness meditation, constantly reading self-help books, constantly just engulfing myself in information on how to heal. I've been to multiple different therapists, EDMR, hypnosis. I'm planning to go to past life regressions. Like, that's the next one. I got all these things that I'm constantly working towards. And so my reintegration was exciting. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of learning. It's like new things pop up. I'll look at a situation differently and be like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And I'll be able to, like, but what is the person that hasn't had that kind of routine? How do they, you know what I mean? How do they take ayahuasca and then reintegrate?
I would plan the ceremony around a time where you can have a couple of days off from work to reintegrate, because when you come out of ceremony, you're open. You're really open energetically. And so everybody you come into contact with, you know what I mean? You're so open. And so, and like I said, another thing we do in ceremony is teach people how to protect their auric field after they come out of ceremony. Not only are you really open, but you're very appealing when you come out of ceremony. I mean, you've never been sexier than you are when you come out of ceremony. You just have this, and not even trying, you just have this aura about you. It says healing or heal. You know what I mean? It's something that's very attractive about it. And so you have to be careful with that as well, because people will be drawn to you, but they're not drawn to you. They're drawn to the healing. And so that means if they need healing, what does that mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You want to be careful of the people that are drawn to you during your healing. You want to do that every day anyways. Like, if you're feeling bad and somebody walks up to you and tries to come on to you, they think they're attracted to you because you're beautiful. But what they're attracted to is they're attracted to your energy.
The pain.
Energy.
Yeah.
Pain. If it's depression, if it's anger, you know, whatever you're feeling. Like, if I'm feeling crappy and some guy tries to come on to me, before I knew myself, I'd be like, oh, that made me feel better. Yeah, let's go out on a date.
Yes.
And now when I feel bad and someone tries to come on me, or if I feel really, after a ceremony, they try to come on to me, I know what it is. They're seeing the healer in me. They're seeing, and they're drawn to me because they need healing.
Yeah.
I think they're drawn to you for something else, but they're drawn to you because they need healing, or they see the work that you've done and they want it. You understand? I do. Yeah, because you know what? I feel that way just in relationships in general, right? People say opposites attract, but in fact, we tend to see that our mate is the exact thing that we try to deny of ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and we attract the same thing over and over again. Like, all of my trauma is in the 8th house of my natal chart. eighth house trauma is pretty bad trauma, right? And so a lot of women who come to me for healing, because I predominantly work with women, although I will work with men. I predominantly work with women. A lot of the women, we have similar traumas, and they see that and their energy they know that unconsciously they know. A lot of the men that are attracted to me have eighth house trauma, meaning they were molested when they were a child. There's nothing more painful than a man that was molested when he was a child.
Yeah.
Nothing. And to see that in their eyes, it's hard for me to be intimate with them because I see the little boy in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a couple questions here. I know that can get deep. I'm like, we gotta have her back for the natal chart readings. Like this is the next season. So do you encounter other spirits in ceremony, ancestor spirits, other things like that?
Oh yeah. My ancestors join me every ceremony. As a matter of fact, I sing a song that I call them in. I call in my ancestors. I call in my plant allies. I call in my spirit allies. I call in my spirit guides, and they walk with me through the journey. And so I know that they're there. I know that my ancestors are there, and they protect me. There's been several times that I needed protecting, and they filled that gap.
Yeah. Protecting from what? So somebody in the ceremony having an intense energy, or?
Okay, let's say that. Yes, that. So there's been times that I've dealt with serious trauma within an individual, and I needed assistance from my ancestors, but we won't go there. We won't go there. I do not want to discourage people from the plants. I'm just going to tell you. So let me give you this example. We were in ceremony one time, and this one's kind of funny. And this woman said she's going to go to the bathroom. Well, she was getting on my nerves the whole time because she kept getting in my energetic field. She was, throwing her energy around. What about the spirits that come with the participant? Okay. Anyways.
Do you get, so yeah, like from them as well? You can address that as you finish the story.
Yeah, and so we're deep in ceremony. I mean, deep, 6D, 5D, 6D. I mean, deep. And so I'm working, and the clients are doing what the clients are going through their process. And all of a sudden, boom, I'm back in 3D. And I'm just like, what happened? Why am I here? Why did I come out of, why did I come out of the spirit and back into my body? Because as a medicine woman, you walk in both worlds, right? And I came out of that world and came back into this world. And then I didn't know what happened. And that had never happened before. And so I was confused. And so then all of a sudden, I saw big spotlights into the window. And so that woman that was acting all crazy, she had said she was going to the bathroom, and she left out the door.
And when he got in her car?
No, she went and walked down the street acting crazy. And this woman already had mental health issues. Someone else brought her with them, and that was a learning lesson for me. They brought her with them. I hadn't interviewed her. I hadn't read her packet or anything. And this was a learning lesson for me. Someone was like, well, Lisa, I didn't think you would mind. And I was like, are you sure? And the person that brought her, I trusted them.
Yeah.
So I will never do that again. Unless I have a face-to-face with the client, we talk, I go through the process with you. You can't come to no last-minute ceremonies.
Yeah.
And to your audience, no one should go to a last-minute ceremony. Hey, they're having a ceremony up the street. Let's go. Don't do it. You need to be processed through properly.
This is why I have a strict no +1 policy. Yeah, Asia's very strict about everything she do. And she will ghost an entire party if she is not feeling the energy.
Exactly. Asia. And so this is a learning process. There's no manual on how to be a medicine woman, honey.
We got a couple other questions I want to make sure we get to before we have to wrap. How do you find where the trauma is in your birth chart?
So your trauma is your Chiron. You want to know where your Chiron is, and then you want
CHIRON.
Can you spell that? What?
CHIRON.
Got it.
Your Chiron is the wounded healer, and your Chiron will be in a certain house, right? like my Chiron is on the cusp of the 7th and the 8th house, depending on who's reading. It comes up in the 8th sometimes. So my childhood reflects the 8th house. My adulthood reflects the 7th house. Okay. The 7th house is death, life, and transformation. Life, death, and transformation. And so, and then the 7th house is the house of relationships. So, yeah. So that's how you find your pain body or your trauma is through your Chiron.
Nice. That's perfect. I took notes. I realized that people were getting my Google face. So here's
My internet crashed.
Oh. You with us, Kellye?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's so weird. But you know what? Around this time of the day is when Comcast be like, nope, you've had enough.
Well, I mean, she also dropped like a formula on us. I think a few of us had to process that. We was like, okay, 7th house, 8th house, Chiron, okay. Because everybody on this, I know they're going to be like, where is my pain body? we just, I felt that through the chat.
Stay still. We see you and hear you just fine.
Yeah. Now, not frozen. Oh, okay. We're not frozen. See, I keep forgetting to keep moving. Sometimes I be quiet. I got to realize I got to move. So I rock a lot in live streams. So I'm going to come out of quarantine rocking.
To answer your question, do we incorporate astrology into the plant practice at all? I do all the time. And the reason I do that is because I want to know the person better. I want to know them better, you know. And I let them know that's what I'm doing. I just want to know you better. I want to know what your deepest wound is. You know, the plants normally will reveal that anyways, but sometimes we do.
Wow. While we're getting Kellye back, I have a lot of questions. But people in the chat, if you have more questions, now's the time. So when it comes to after I'm kind of on this pain body thing. What other types of bodies are there that you can find in your chart?
So your Mars is very important because the Mars is the soldier in you. The Mars is the warrior in you. That's your anger. That's your fire. You want to know where that's at. So like, say, for example, if your Mars is in the 12th house, then your anger is hidden because the 12th house is the house of hidden, of hidden. It's hidden, the subconscious. So if your Mars is in the 12th house, then that means that your anger has been repressed. You haven't really dealt with your anger. You know what I mean? And so that anger can come out. It can come out unexpectedly because it's been repressed for so long. You know?
And overall, not overall all of this, because it could be more than one thing, but this leads towards you just becoming more self-aware. Like I feel like the point of healing is to be self-aware. So when things come up in real time, you're like, oh, I know what this is. I'm not about to do the same thing I've been doing for 28 years. Is that what this is leading to? Like, what do you do with the healing?
Are you 28?
No, I'm 34.
Okay, so I was going to say you're in your Saturn return. So the next
I'm in my what?
If you were 28, I was about to tell you you're going through your Saturn return.
Oh, okay.
Which the last few years, 3 or 4 years prior, were probably pretty rough because you were shifting from, in the spirit realm, you were still a child. So you said you're 30 what? Okay, so you're 4 years old as an adult. You're only 4 years into adulthood.
Wow, that makes so much sense with my lifestyle and everything that I got going on. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to be on the show till midnight. This is now.
Am I back?
Yes.
You're back, honey.
Right on time.
I'm so sorry.
To become the Lisa Beasley Healing Show. I was about to hold everybody in this chat hostage. Be like, let's get into it.
You got a good wingman because she sure took charge.
Man, Lisa's so great. I was like, she finna rename this Be Less Petty with Lisa.
I was ready. I was not throwing away my shot.
Oh my God. And it's still kind of crackly. Like you guys aren't coming in really clear, but I'm like right across from the box. So I'm hoping.
You're coming in clear and great. So if you have any trouble hearing us, just, type in the chat or something, but we won't lose you.
All right. I think that was okay. Where did we leave off? Where were we?
Well, we talked about where to find the pain body in the chart, and I think that's when things started to get choppy. And then someone asked if they use astrology in their plant medicine is all the time. And then this got us excited. And now I was like, what other type of bodies are there? And we was just talking about Mars and how you want to know where that is, because that's where your anger is, that's where your fire is. Yeah, I remembered everything you just said.
This got deep. This got real deep.
And then we got into how I'm 4 years old as an adult. And that blew my mind because that sounds so accurate. And can't wait to go to kindergarten.
You're not really an adult until, in the spirit realm, you're not really an adult until after 30. So it's like it's just the test run. And then when you have your first Saturn return, now you go into adulthood.
Wow.
Your Chiron's on the cusp.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
the same thing for me, Asia. When she started talking about Chiron, I was like on it for like hours. I couldn't stop
let me tell you
reading about it.
That natal chart is a rabbit hole in itself. And when you look at your natal chart and realize that you signed up for this shit, I was for about 2 months. It's hard to digest. I was just like, what do you mean I signed up for it? Why would I sign up for it? And then after getting deeper and deeper in my chart, I understand why. But when I first went down that rabbit hole, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like you, I'm a researcher, so I just...
People are relating. This explains so much. People are relating. This is amazing. This was an amazing conversation. Elohi, I'm going to have you back. Like, I'm going to have you back to talk about natal charts and to dive deeper into that. This has been magical, like beyond magical.
If you ever wanted to, have a daily show from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day so we could talk to you about this, the platform is available.
that has been coming up in my spirit a whole lot. It's like, I don't know why I won't do it, but
and when we did our test run the other day, she was like, "Oh, I like this platform."
So just to throw this out there, this is a shameless plug. I guess it's a plug, but anyways, this is for your client, for your audience. I'm on a hiatus right now, but I do travel, and this is live, isn't it? Yeah. So just if you want to get in touch with me, just get with Kellye.
I got her info. I'm already over here trying to get together a Chicago ayahuasca crew, because I'm telling you, to me, I mean, some people, but you know what though? I always have been into this kind of stuff. I've always been into this kind of healing and this type of stuff. And to me, it's just so deep. You know what I mean? It's so deep. And I think that we're meant to go that deep. We're meant to know ourselves that deep, and if we don't know ourselves that deep, what is the point of trying to get to know somebody else that deep? I see many of us doing that, right? We want to know other people so deep, but we don't even know who we are. And I don't know, that just seems pointless. So I'm trying to get together a ceremony for that. We want to play this last game, or we want to go through these last myths if y'all want to. I mean, it's just a couple. I don't hear anybody. Are y'all still here?
So I'm on mute because Cookie, my dog, is being a dog.
Because y'all still moving like this for me. So I don't know if the internet is working or not.
I am also doing the tick.
Oh, God. Oh God, this is good. Okay, we're gonna do these last couple myths real quick with the audience, and then yeah, that's pretty much a wrap. That's pretty much a wrap for this show. This one I think is a really good myth that a lot of people believe about ayahuasca that I want you to debunk real quick.
It's just a better version of shrooms.
How do you feel about that? Is that true or false? Even though I used the word debunk, so that probably gave you the answer.
Kellye does it again.
Oh, that and peyote.
Mm.
That and peyote. So those two are. So is shrooms just a better? Is ayahuasca just a better? Peyote and ayahuasca just better versions of shroom?
The two completely different energies.
Mm.
They're both sacred plants, but they're two completely different energies. Ayahuasca may take you on a journey and tell you a story. Shrooms are like, this is what it is. And they don't give you no answer after that. This is what it is. But like I said, shrooms are another one that I, again, just my opinion, that I hear people say, oh, you could just take some shrooms, you know. I've been in some shroom ceremonies that were so intense that if the person had been there by themselves doing that, I mean, I would be very concerned. So I don't recommend that we do any of this medicine recreational outside of the sacred plant marijuana. You know what I mean? It's just me. I just think that we should. Can someone take your old shrooms? Yeah. I mean, the medicine is the medicine. But like high doses, like ceremonial doses, should be taken within a ceremony. But ayahuasca and shrooms are two different energies. If I'm not mistaken, shrooms are a masculine energy, and ayahuasca is a feminine energy. So, like a man would do, they're going to just tell you straight up what it is. They're not going to beat around the bush and give you all the details. They're going to say, this is what it is. That's shrooms, in my experience. Ayahuasca will say, yeah, well, you can go around the corner and you can look at the trees and you can look at the butterflies and you can smell the flowers if you want to. But at the end of the day, you're going to get to that trauma. And shrooms are just going to be like, bam, here's your damn trauma.
That's such a good point, because when I was in my ceremony, she kept asking me why was I denying my divine feminine. She was like, why are you running from that? Why are you so masculine? Why are you running from that? And I'm like, who you calling masculine? I'm good, no? Ain't nobody masculine. But it's true. It is very true that I have a very masculine personality, and I have a hard time tapping into that feminine part of myself because of said personality. Like, even when I want to be sexy, I second guess it. You know what I mean?
Strong man to make me bring that feminine energy out of me. You know what I
mean? It's really hard for me.
Me too. I get you. But I have all of my planets are in the first house, which is the house of Aries. And Aries is that's the soldier of astrology. That's the soldier of the zodiac. So all of my planets are basically in that first house of the I am. And yeah.
Lisa said, "Ooh."
Yeah, I have going back to like ceremonial dose. What would you consider to be a ceremonial dose?
Now that I will not say on this platform. The reason I won't say that is because I have a code of ethics that I'm responsible for. Okay? Someone wants to go do whatever dose they're going to do, they're not going to do it because I recommended it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When I'm with you and your energy and spirit is talking to me, I decide that at that moment. But by that time, I've already called in my ancestors and I already have guidance. You see?
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
Oh, I have a question about while you're in a ceremony with someone, and let's say they encounter a part of themselves that they didn't know was there that both of y'all don't like. Is there a reaction to that?
So if there's an encounter, like there's been encounters where familiar energies that I have beat in the past will rise up off of someone else and kind of challenge you in the spirit. And The answer is yes.
Mm.
And then there's also sweet energies that are, I mean, just emotional energies that, like, for example, there's nothing more humbling than to be in the presence of a man who, when a man cries, he heals 7 generations before him and 7 generations after him. It is the most humbling and most beautiful experience to be in a ceremony and then to have a man release like that and to be able to witness that, you know. And so that's just like this most humbling thing. And with women as well, watching a woman heal, she heals 7 generations before her and 7 generations after her.
I knew he was gonna say something.
Kellye makes fun of me when I cry. Oh,
I was just thinking I need to stop telling my husband to man up. I need to stop that. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
The answer might be he needs to lean in his divine feminine. That may be where the answer is.
No, he's in his divine feminine. I'm saying, like, I got to stop telling him to man up because he's in said divine feminine.
For you, for the lack of femininity you have.
He is. My husband is a very emotional person, and he owns that. And I'd be like, bro, what the?
Like, a water sign?
He's a Taurus.
Oh, is he a Taurus? What's his
name? Bull. Okay, for real.
Moon. Yeah.
So I see that side too, but he's in tune with his feminine side, which is has always actually been very attractive. But it's something about my feminine side that be like, or my masculine side rather.
Yeah, his moon must be in the water sign.
Now that I check on that, Kellye brings out the masculine side in me because now I'm thinking about comedy shows we've rolled up on together, and it definitely felt like, you know, drug dealers coming to connect. It felt like, do I have 3 guns on me? Like, do I have muscles I don't know about? I thug.
I feel you, Kellye. I'm with you. I struggle with the masculine, and I try to just embrace it, you know. But
oh my God.
I'm a soldier at the end of the day.
You know what we didn't talk about?
Ask me to spell ayahuasca. Give me my doggone phone.
You know what we didn't talk about was the purge that happens. You know what I mean? We didn't even really talk about that much, and that's a huge part of it. Like the regurgitation, the shitting, the coughing, the spitting.
The purging can look like yawning. It can look like crying. It can look like laughing. It can be purging via vomit or going to the bathroom. Purging can look like a number of things. Crying, I think I already mentioned that.
I didn't know it could look like laughing because I found myself laughing a few times. Like I would have a thought and then I would realize how ridiculous that thought has been and how I've carried it for so long, and it just made me laugh. I was like, oh God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and so purging could look like a lot of different things. Shucks.
That's so interesting. And you know what? I actually found the purging to be melodic. I thought that I would be grossed out by it. I thought that I would be like, people are spitting into buckets. People are passing out. People, meaning myself, I was farting up a storm. And so I'm like, people are doing these things. And how can we be okay with this? But it was like a release. I was so relieved for myself and everybody else that was going through this, you know? It was like, of all the sounds, laughing, passing gas, throwing up, coughing, all of it was melodic.
Yeah. Sometimes the people to your left and your right, whatever they're going through, like, you know, it's what you need. Like, say, for example, a guy is next to you crying, and you're like, oh, he's so weak. Oh, I can't. Why is he crying? I can't stand that. He's fine, or whatever you were saying, you know. And that's a reflection of where you need to heal. And then, so sometimes a person to our left or right or within the ceremony, our energies will combine. you know. So someone who never laughs, who and then you start laughing, uh, they haven't heard themselves laugh in 20 years, and then all of a sudden they start laughing too. You know, they need that healing energy, and so
Mm,
you bring that laughter into the ceremony,
yeah.
and that's what you do. You heal people through laughter.
Yeah. I felt that. I felt that while I was there. I felt other people taking on things that I couldn't release, releasing it for me. It was very interesting. And the next day, I like brought that up in reintegration when we have the reintegration conversation about how was our ceremony. And I said that I was like, man, I felt this and I felt that. And then the girl that was across from me to my right was like, I felt all of your pain on the left side of your body, which is where I typically hold my pain. I mean, I see a chiropractor for it. And she was
Your
like,
heart. You're
and she was
holding
like,
it in
I
your heart.
felt it. I felt it. And she was like, and it was so painful, but I felt, she said, but I knew, and I saw her throughout the night doing this, like trying to stretch her, trying to get the pain off of her. But the next morning when I mentioned it in the thing, she was like, that makes sense that I was dealing with that because we were, you know, and she had been through ayahuasca several times. So maybe she was in a position to hold
She
that pain
knows.
for me. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I remember being in a ceremony, not being over the ceremony, but being in a ceremony, and there was a man on each side of me, and I was trapped in between this masculine energy,
Mm,
and it was just oh, and I had been trapped within masculine energy for 22 years in the military, but I needed to
fact.
purge that. I needed to purge that feeling of being trapped by masculine energy and having to be in their space all the time and having to function in their space as a woman um, every single day. It puts a lot of stress on the body. And so then
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this ceremony between these two men. One's a lawyer and one's, I don't know what he was, but they were both very, you know, in the 3D world, prestigious people. And it was all night long. It was just very intense being between these two men and having to consume all of this masculine energy. And it made me purge, but I needed that because that's what I needed to release. I needed to release uh, the trauma of having to function in a man's world for 22 years and
Mm,
being something that, you know what I mean? The
yeah,
performance that I had to do every single day. And then you had to do it 10 times more to be even seen.
yeah.
So,
We're going to do this last question and then we're going to thank you for being here
thank
with
us.
us. We're going to do this last question. Thank us. As a person that's going through ceremony, do you connect with other people in their journeys?
I do. I can see their ancestors. A lot of times, their ancestors will show up and they'll speak through me. And I will hear myself say, your grandmother is here,
Mm.
or something like that. So, to answer your question, yes.
Now, that's as a medicine woman. Now, as a regular person, myself, right? If I'm laying next to somebody, am I able to
Oh, I didn't
connect
read the
with
question right. Sorry.
within this journey? Well, I don't think no, I don't think it was a right or wrong way. I'm just wondering as a me, would I end up connecting with the person next to me's journey that they're in?
Uh, I don't think that you will go into their journey, but I think that like say for example, if you need to cry, then the
Uh-huh.
person next to you will probably be bawling their eyes out and trigger you to cry.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of bounce off of each other. Your journey is your journey. You
Yeah.
know, somebody might say the right thing at the right time, and you're like, oh, I needed to hear that. They may be talking to somebody else, but you needed to hear that as well.
You know what? I felt that because every time I had a thought in my head, it was so weird. I would have a thought about something I was considering or battling with. And then the shaman would answer it, but not talking to me. She was talking to somebody else that asked the question. And I was like, oh shit, that was what I was asking in my head, but not out my mouth. And then this
Yeah,
person
because
does it.
she's like in a sports bar, and this is how I describe it. There's like televisions. One's playing basketball, one's football, one's soccer, one's ping pong or whatever. But that's each client has a, and this is how I function. I'm not saying that's how she functions. I don't know, but each client has a television screen above their head, and I can just look and see. You might be thinking about this. She's thinking about that. Blah blah blah. And so they kind of like you're kind of like in, anyways. girl, that sounds like ego to me. But you're just kind of like in both worlds a lot of the time. Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
But your journey is your journey for sure. You're not going into like, you wouldn't go into Lisa's journey. Lisa wouldn't go into your journey. It's specifically for you.
Elohi, thank you. Thank us. Thank this moment.
Thank you, Lisa.
I learned a lot. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like
thank you.
Yeah, this was a beautiful connection and experience and moment. And I'm gonna stop telling my husband to man up. I'm gonna let him be. And I'm gonna try to lean into that myself. I'm gonna try to lean into my feminine energy so that, you know, it makes more sense in this house.
Just allow.
Yes, allow. Thank you so much. Yes, sending my love. I will definitely contact you soon. Soon. Bye. Oh my God, Lisa. Was you ready?
Energetically, yes.
Mentally, no.
Still processing. I'm combining a couple of layers.
Yes. Oh,
because on one level, I'm like, we did it. This was the vision you was talking about in 2017. This is what you was trying to figure out. Like, how is this funny at the same time? Because when you went into some of your trauma, I remember like, oh yeah, that's why we were able to even try to flesh this out, because we could so easily talk about trauma without batting an eye.
We've always been able to do that. We've always been able to talk about deep stuff and just be like, yeah, no, here you go. And just have a whole conversation.
Not okay. We're like, that's not okay.
Most people have a really hard time
like, we
talking about trauma. I'm like, no. Girl, oh man, this was deep.
I feel like I'm gonna be open after this. Like the next few days, I'm gonna have to monitor myself because I feel like that opened me, because there's some things I gotta think about. I know there's some things I'm on Google, and it's affirming that you can open yourself. Like, yes, you can have these ceremonies and stuff like that, but you can go through these periods of your like awakening journey where you're like, I got a lot to sit on this week.
Yeah. This was beautiful. Everybody that came in and tuned in, our next show is, I was going to say February. I'm missing months, y'all.
What is time?
What is time? That's what I'm saying. What is time?
Right.
It's relative. We will have Minerva. I did not get the proper pronunciation of her last name, and I don't want to mispronounce it, but she is a yoga instructor. She also has Roots Healing is the name of her company that she runs, rootshealing.org. She talks all about plant medicines and eating well with plants and all of the, are you trying to get in the image?
I'm looking at her.
She great, y'all. No, but this is who we have coming on April 15th. So make sure you tune in the same time, 7:00, and don't tune out just yet, because we have a special announcement from Grandma T. She wants to incorporate you guys into the show a lot more. As other than just your comments, she want to dive deep. She want to get into your petty issues, and so she told me she wanted to come on and talk to y'all. So I said, fine, I'll let that happen. So y'all, Grandma T is going to take it away. I will see y'all next time. And yeah, so much love.
All right. Pretty good show, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you was here at the beginning on time, you would have saw me. I'm back. I'm Miss Enlightened Grandma T. I'm Miss Enlightened Grandma T. And I'm wisdom in the body, you know, like I've been living And cause I've been living, I got information, inside of me. And I want to help you with the petty shit, that you may find yourself dealing with, So here's what I want you to do. I want you to inbox me your petty problems, and I'm gonna help you see it with my petty answers on the next show. Okay? You get it? You get me? Okay. So they're not talking back.
They're just
to
recording. They can't. You're not seeing.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. The VCR recorder. The video VCR recorder. Yeah. Okay. So you gonna inbox me. Okay? Inbox me your petty problems. Whatever they are. Whatever little petty shit you dealing with, send it my way. And we gonna talk about it on the next show. Okay? Your husband, if y'all ain't, getting along, send me that shit. Your kids, if you don't like them, you don't like your mistress' kids, send me that shit. Your job, send me that shit. You don't like your job, yeah, just send me all those petty situations, and I'm gonna read your email. Confidentiality is very important. We won't share your name unless you say that you want your name shared. Okay? But for the most part, we're gonna read your email inbox letter on the show, and then I'm gonna respond to the letter. Okay, now you need to know the email inbox address. That's gonna be www. What?
There's no W's for the email.
Well, shit. You should have said that before I start recording. Okay, there ain't no W's, apparently. I don't know. I don't even know who I'm talking to. You go email me at, email inbox me. You gotta email inbox me, okay? Cause it's important to know the difference. Okay. Email inbox me to, let us. Okay, letters like ABCD letters at belesspetty.com. Okay, letters like if your kid come in from school with a bad attitude, and you say let us be, let us be, letters at belesspetty.com. Or you ever had an eviction letter? That's the word. Letter at belesspetty.com. And it's gonna be somewhere. They say they're gonna float it around here somewhere, so you go see it. I think that's it. I know I gotta take this goddamn bra off. My titty about sweating. I feel a goddamn river flowing up under there. How I turn this off? And put this ball.